As explained in our online training, one of the most important factors that influences adult learning is making sure that your users understand why it's important to learn what you're trying to teach. So why is this training important to you? Why should you care about learning how to use this training session agenda and planning checklist template? One of the big benefits of all Systems to Win templates is that it's so much easier to remember what you learned 6 months ago when you finally go to use that knowledge again, to have a fill-in-the-blanks template to remind you of what you learned. In this case, what you are learning is how to systematically design training sessions so that you maximize the probability that your learners will actually use and retain what you are trying to teach them. Now, we're assuming that you've already gone through your initial quick start training so that you know what is common to all Systems to Win templates and how to find and open them. If you haven't done that, it would be a real good idea to just stop this video and do that now. Now, this template does not come as one of the free trials, so you do need to own your templates, and you'll go to your portal, and it comes in the Kaizen and Project Tools bundle. So we scroll down to find it, and then right-click, Save Target As, to open it just like any other Systems to Win template. It reminds us to enable our macros, so we do, and it opens us up to a help worksheet, which is organized the exact same way on every Systems to Win template. So when you know how to find help for one, you know how to find help for them all. In fact, the reason that this is not included as a free trial template is because it only has one feature that you won't find on any of the other dozen free trial templates. Otherwise, they're extremely similar. When you've learned one, you learn them all. So let's show you that one feature first, and then we'll come back and show you some other features that are also of interest when using this template. Now, a lot of instructors will only specify the number of minutes that something is expected to take, and they specify that here within the print area of the session agenda that gets distributed to the students. Now, you don't have to specify start and end times that are outside of the print area and are only for instructor use, but if you do want Excel to calculate your start and end times, it can be a useful feature. So here's how you do it. First, you select a cell in the start time, and the pop-up help will tell you what to do, but let's do it together. We're going to enter a time in time format. And then we come over here to this column and enter our expected number of minutes that will take. And when we hit enter, notice that our end time will automatically calculate. So now let's select this cell, because rather than having a hard-coded start time, let's make that start time equal to the end time from the previous activity. So we type the equal sign, and then we select the cell containing the end time for the previous activity, and when we press the Enter key, we notice that the background color of that cell automatically changes to highlight our attention that that cell contains a formula rather than typed text. And while we're here, let's select all those cells containing times, and then right-click Format Cells, and notice that Systems to Win always chooses the data format that has the asterisk, because that's the data formats that support international versions of Excel, which you will especially appreciate if you are an international company taking advantage of the Systems to Win language translation features. But let's pretend for a moment that you are the United States government and you could care less about multiple languages, but you want your time to be in military time. Okay, select military time, and there you go. Now all of your times are in 24-hour format. Remember, you can use everything you know about Microsoft Excel, and you can use everything you know about any other Systems to Win template. So that was the one thing that was different about this template. Now let's go look at features that are shared with many Systems to Win templates. Because one of the keys to adult learning is to repeat important information. You know, just like so many of your favorite instructors have done in the past. Like every Systems to Win template, you always start on the help worksheet. And if you, the instructor, are not yourself a remedial learner, you will have already reviewed the Quick Start training that reviews what's common to every Systems to Win template. So now you are ready to scroll down to the instructions for how to use this template. And after reminding you one more time of the importance of Quick Start training, you notice that the first step is to define who are your learners and what are the objectives that you're trying to teach in your training session. And like all Systems to Win templates, there are links to additional help and training if you care. In this case, the link takes you to our suggested readings that have excellent suggestions for how to better define who are your learners and what are your learning objectives. Now, of course, you would click the button to open a blank template sheet, which opens a blank template sheet where you're going to do your real work. But we are going to use the sample sheet that already has sample data, which makes any Systems to Win template faster to learn. So we're going to start out up here in the Learners section, where you're going to identify your learners. And again, if you completed your Quick Start training, then you already know to use Alt-Enter to create paragraphs within a cell. So let's demonstrate how to do that here in these learning objectives. First, let's use what we know about familiar Excel to expand the function bar so that we can see wrapped text. And then we click Alt-Enter for a paragraph, where we can enter our second objective and maybe a third. And there you go. That's where you define your learning objectives. So back on our help worksheet, we see that our next step is to personalize both our planning checklist and session agenda, copying those orange header rows as needed. And I don't know how many times we've emphasized this, the single most important Excel skill you'll ever learn is rather than simply inserting rows, you want to copy similar blank rows, then right-click the cell where you want to insert, and select Insert Copied Cells. And then you can edit your copied orange header for your own learning topics. Now we've already reviewed how to optionally let Excel automatically calculate start and end times. And as you learned in the Quick Start training, you can always go to the Systems to Win tab to insert a link icon to link to related documents such as PowerPoints or instructor notes or training videos. And you should already know how to use the DV sheet to define your own user-defined drop-down lists. And you should also know how to use conditional formatting that still turns your background color the right color, even if using multiple languages. Now when it comes time to print, your Systems to Win template has a few features that are really useful. Let's go to the Sample tab and show you. Now right here in the session agenda, you can add instructor notes that you really don't want your learners to see. So in this Hide Rows column, you simply type the word true so that when you click this Hide and Show Rows button, any row that has the word true in it will be hidden when you print your session agenda for your student use. Now when you want to print the session agenda section at the top of each worksheet, you use Excel's regular print features. So if we view in page break preview mode rather than normal, we notice that usually you will only print those 3 columns that are in the white print area. But you can always drag that thick blue border to change the print area using everything you already know about familiar Microsoft Excel. Now if we scroll down, we notice that the training session planning checklist is located on the same worksheet with the agenda, which is really convenient if you happen to be planning a training program that consists of multiple sessions and you want them each to have their own sheet within one workbook. So to print the training session planning checklist, In your choice of landscape or portrait, you select the Print button to print this lower half of your worksheet. And unlike the upper session agenda, which you can print to PDF easily using Microsoft's regular PDF features, if you want to print this lower half in PDF like we did here, then you're going to need more powerful PDF writing software. So it's a good thing that if you didn't skip the initial Quick Start training, you already know how to download and use free PDF writing software that's far more capable than what comes with standard Office.